you know what's crazy? It actually counted down properly this time. Because typically when we start, it's like 5, 3, and then 1, and then it starts.
Oh,
but,
really? It hit it right today. It's a good
it
omen.
hit it right today. Yeah, that's a good omen. That's definitely a good fucking sign. So, Jeremy, what is up, my guy? How you doing tonight?
Oh man, yo, you kind of went in and out on that. You heard that, Jay? Or
Oh
nah?
no, we're already.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what is it?
What's up, Jeremy?
I don't know. This is take 2, everyone.
Yeah, this
So we had to bring it back.
Jay the Barber. Yeah, we had to run it back. So to be transparent with everybody here, we recorded Jeremy maybe like 3-4 weeks ago, right? That sounds about right.
Something like that.
And,
maybe 2.
Yeah,
yeah.
And me and my boy Jay the Barber over here, we had an off night. I don't know if it was because I had just gotten back from the bachelor party that I was at. I was celebrating my last couple of days as single. And I still might have had some stripper titty juice left on me that was that was absorbing my energy. But we're good. We're past that now. And Jay, I think you were just fucking beat that night, right?
Yeah, it was a bad night. It was a bad shooting night from the field, you know. Just want to say it wasn't my best performance out there. But today we're back. Hydrated,
ready to go
rested.
with the new Giants mug too, right there.
That's right, bro. You know, got to plug
this
my
man
boys.
This man's legit. This man has brought a different Giants mug for every episode that we've recorded thus far.
Yeah, I gotta buy another one because the last one was the last one, and then I ran into
this. You're starting the trend, but but Jeremy, my guy, thank you again, bro. I do apologize for what happened the first time. I think we had just fucking internet issues and just the vibe wasn't there. So
I think what happened was a little bit of that titty juice got on the wires, and yeah, may have deteriorated some stuff. So
it might have. You know, Punta Cana women are different. So that was. Listen, Jay. I'm swinging for the fucking fences tonight, man. I'm swinging.
We are
I am
swinging
swinging
tonight.
for the fences, you know?
No take sign. We're just straight.
Listen, for what it's worth, my fiance gave me the green light. She said, talk what you got to talk about. It's all good. So I'm good.
That's good. I have a disclaimer with mine too. You know, so whatever goes on the air, don't take it personal. This is for entertainment purposes.
That's right. Which, by the way, yeah, I got to fucking make sure I say that too because I don't get fucking fired.
I'm a free man, so I can say whatever I want. I'm good right now.
Go.
No one to
free agent.
Free agent on the block.
I got no one to report to.
But let's get into you, Jeremy. So just to kind of tell the people a little bit about your background. So you are a strength and athletic coach. Is that correct?
Yeah, generally strength and conditioning coach, but yeah, working with athletes. So you're on the right terms.
I'm on the right path. So how did that start, man? Kind of take us through your life journey as to like where it all started and where it landed you to where you are today.
All right. So pretty much, just graduating college, just trying to figure it out. I was doing certain jobs, certain things that, I studied in college and school. I was working in hotels, wasn't really passionate about it. I've always loved training, like going all the way back to when I was a kid, probably when I was like 11 or 12, I would go up to my dad's attic and like steal weights from there, bring them down to my room, get little workouts in. I was just always infatuated with that. I always wanted to be an athlete. I played sports growing up, wanted to go pro, obviously in baseball. I think like all young kids do. And I just, it was always a dream to be around sports, and the hotels wasn't really doing it. I ended up working for my parents' company. They have a limousine company, which was a really cool experience, a really different experience. But again, it was more of that operations and just not where my passion laid. So there were periods of time where I was working for them, and I was also training at a gym, or I was in school learning or taking different fitness courses. And about a little over 2 years ago, I just took the jump. I was like, you know what? Like, it's time to go all in. Like, if you're going to do it, you just got to commit. So I kind of went all in and just continued learning and continued going down that path. But a big thing for me was to be around the people I wanted to be around. If I was going to have to work, I wanted work to be my play, so I wanted to have fun at work. And that's what training is for me. That's what the strength and conditioning game is. being around like young people, young energy, high energy, athletes, and just people that are in it to get better. You know, those are the kind of people I'm really trying to surround myself with. So.
No, I think that, you know, that you said a lot of interesting things there that I want to touch base on a little bit. So your parents owned a limousine company.
Yeah, still do. They
still do.
Yeah,
plug it in.
Shout out Easy Rider Limousine.
There we go.
They're out of Leonia, but they operate out of Manhattan. They work with like a ton of A-level celebrities. So it's definitely an interesting world, you know, just seeing the world of itineraries, seeing the way these people move, like seeing the different opportunities they get, and just, you know, these are the highest of high performers, and, you know, you see why they are like that. You know, they get picked up at 7 a.m. They have like makeup in their room at 6 before they go out, and they're going from like TV show to TV show to TV show, promoting their stuff, getting lunch, meeting with designers, trying to set different things up. You know, the wine and dine aspect of like entertainment, Broadway, like all that stuff.
So how was that conversation in the Kaplan household when you told your dad, listen, man, I'm not going to take over the family business? Was he okay with it?
It was kind of a slow burn, you know, like for me, like I'm definitely a people pleaser. I kind of like to make everyone happy. If I could, I would all the time. But it kind of started with like, hey, so yeah, I'm really thinking about this training thing, you know, and I really tried to show it more with actions than with words, to be honest. Because there was one.
What do you mean by that?
There was one point where I was working for Easy Rider, like kind of full time. It was a little less than full time. I was training at a gym, and then I went back to school to learn more. Because like it was shortly after my first job in the gym, and like being a trainer right off the rip, like the biggest thing I learned was like, yo, I don't know shit. You know, like, yeah, it was a huge wake up call. Because like, I'm like, yo, I'm 25, I'm ripped, I have 6-pack abs, like I'm in good shape. You know what I mean? I could lift, like I was benching like 285. You know what I mean? Like big numbers. And
how many reps?
For a single?
How many reps?
Just one. 285 for a single.
Right,
yeah,
just making sure.
I mean,
we gotta let them know.
I was sitting at like 158 pounds at the time, so like I was pretty maxed out for myself. I was strong, but at the end of the day, it's like you see that was like the bodybuilder way, where it's like you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, you're like, yo, teach me how to lift because I want to be like you. But nowadays, it's like a lot of people could look huge, like look the part, but not have that intel or that information. So that was how I felt. I was like, yo, if I'm going to do this, like I need to do it right. So I decided to enroll at Hudson Community College. I took 2 classes, like a semester for 2 semesters, while working in the gym and while like working for my parents' company. So it was definitely like grind time. And I guess that was the way I kind of like through my actions, I was like, you know what, like I want to help you guys. I want to support you guys. But at the end of the day, my passion lays elsewhere.
Yeah, nah, I mean, ultimately the good thing is that you ended up chasing your dreams and it seems like you're happy doing what you're doing today. You know, it's funny because I felt like when you go into the gym for the first time, unless you were in like football or some sort of sports where weights are important to what you're doing, it's sort of intimidating and you do shit that you don't really know. Like I know when I first hit the gym for the first time, I would run for like half an hour on the treadmill before I would lift weights. And then when I was trying to push the weights, I would always ask myself, damn, why am I so tired? So like, Jay, did you ever go through some shit like that when you first hit the gym for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like a common error that everybody makes, that makes cardio like so important. Then after a couple of years of training with my man J Cap over there, he's like, you honestly don't even need cardio. You could do it while you work out. And that was like music to my ears, bro, because I fucking hate cardio, bro. I hate running.
Yeah, like fucking cardio is monotonous. And I mean, yo, Jeremy, you did a fucking great job with Jay, because I know, you know, not that fucking Jay, you were ever overweight, but I saw the transformation. And I'm like, yo, like, who the fuck are you training with? He's like, yo, my boy Jeremy. And I was like, damn, yo, I got to fucking link up with this guy in the future. And here we are.
Here we are.
You know, it all comes fucking full circle. So, you know, Why is it like that? That's such a fucking myth in the gym world where you have to do cardio in order to burn fat. Where do you think that comes from, Jeremy?
I think from like a logical perspective, a lot of people see it that way. Like when you're doing cardio, you're sweating. You know what I mean? Your heart rate is could be a little bit more elevated. You're constantly moving throughout. You know what I mean? So it's like you could be doing cardio for an hour. So like that whole hour, you're busy with completing that one task of the hour of cardio. Where it's like some of these workouts, if you were to follow more of a hypertrophy program, which is a muscle building program, similar to what I uploaded in the app for you, like you could go through that training block and not even sweat. Like the rest periods could be 1 to 3 to 5 minutes realistically. Mm-hmm. Not that I really ever have anybody rest that long, but if you were to go by the book, if you were to really try to max out and do max effort lifts, the general rest period is 3 to 5 minutes. So people logically or from a mental standpoint will think, yo, I'm just sitting around for 5 minutes. I didn't come to the gym to sit around. And they almost underestimate the amount of like, what's the word I'm looking for? The amount that they'll get out of that exercise, out of that movement, like the amount of energy expenditure and the growth that you could get in tissue by doing a max effort lift, like whether it be a back squat, a deadlift, a bench press, and taking 2, 3, 5 minutes to recover and do it again. Like they see it as nothing just because they're not sweating, they're not moving, they're sitting around. They could be sitting around 10 minutes to do 2 reps versus like being on, they're like, if I'm going to be at the gym, I may as well walk for an hour, but it doesn't equal out. So I think that's a big myth just because people really want to feel a certain way, but how they feel doesn't always equate to the results that they're looking for, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Because I think from a certain perspective, to your point, when you hit the gym and you're not sweating, you feel as if you're not really working.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case. And, the interesting thing in the times that we've spoken, Jeremy, is how knowledgeable you are when it comes to strength and conditioning. So I know earlier you had mentioned that when you first got into the gym, you didn't really know exactly what you were doing. So who taught you what you know today? Was it just through trial and error? Was it like kind of, being mentored by somebody else? What made you learn everything that you know today? There
have definitely been a lot of people. And like, I can't even, what's kind of shitty is like a lot of people have taught me stuff. A lot of people have taught me things and kind of did me dirty at the end. So like, I can't even really name everyone, but I would say it's more just that curiosity within. And it definitely hasn't been trial and error, because that's the one thing with the fitness field is like, you shouldn't really try shit that you don't know about, if that makes sense, because that's where
it does.
Like that level of injury occurs. You could dabble with it, you research it, kind of get your knowledge, try it on yourself. I would say that, but it's not just like, let's see what this does. Let's try, like let's try this and see what happens. Like, I don't really do that. I kind of go through, I do a lot of research. I've gone through numerous certifications and different courses. I almost feel like with myself, it's a little bit of Napoleon's complex. I almost never really feel good enough. And that kind of keeps me going. It continues to push me, make me hungry, make me very humble. And I think humility is huge. Just being able to go up to people and be like, I could learn from you. And I'm just going to put my ego to the side. I'm going to learn everything I can from you. And then like whatever happens from there, we'll go whatever direction.
Yeah, not everyone's like that. Like, I think it takes a different person to go up to someone and be like, hey, like, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Would you mind teaching me? And I think for a lot of us that start working out, we get caught up in the whole bro science, So like, Jay, what's like the worst fucking gym advice that you've ever gotten that in hindsight, you look back at it and you go, that was fucking dumb?
You know what? Like when people try to teach you how to work out, like give you a form, right? Like, oh, work on your form. My man, you don't even look like you're in shape. Like, why should I listen to you? Like, why?
No.
It's like, no.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is a valid point. That a lot of people in the gym that, like, I guess because they fucking watch YouTube videos, over the case may be, they become like these fucking experts. So I'll ask you the same question, Jeremy. Was there some advice that someone gave to you many years ago that looking back at it, you go, that shit was fucking dumb?
I would say that like a lot of it is on that nutrition side and the cardio side. Like, and I'll say those few things. And it's not even generally people giving me advice. Certain people will talk at me and tell me what they're doing and why they're doing it. You know, so you see all these people, you know, so down here, you know, just being fully transparent, down here, I was working in a restaurant. I came down to Florida to do an internship actually with one of my mentors to learn more. And during that time, it was an unpaid internship. So I was working at a restaurant down here just to make some extra money, right? And on Saturday, I was working over there. I was serving a table, and some guy asked me about the tuna tartare. And he was like, yo, so I'm on keto. Like, are there carbs in there? And I was like, honestly, man, like, not really. You'll be pretty good. I was like, you may want to skip the plantain chips, but the tuna tartare, he's like, but is there any sugar or anything like that? I was like, bro, if there is, it's not going to really be enough to kick you out of ketosis. And then he goes and orders a drink, you know, and he's like, it's like a sweet drink. And I'm just like, there's sugar in here. He's like, yeah, but that's all right. I just like the food. But a lot of it is like the carbs, you know, people think carbs are the devil, you know, like the intermittent fasting people, I feel like throw up on a huge pedestal and will tell me all this stuff. And then the cardio, like, I just want to get toned. Like, I just need more reps. And those are all just really big misconceptions, I would say, with around the fitness industry right now.
Yeah, no, and I think especially when it comes to diet, right? Like my cousin, for example, he's big on keto. And I mean, for what it's worth, the guy's lost a lot of weight. Like he's ripped as fuck at that point. But that shit is crazy to me that you have to limit your carb intake, because based on the little that I read about it, people go through a transitionary period where the first time that they start it, they feel like fucking shit.
Yeah, it's called the keto flu.
The keto flu, so they get sick, right?
Yeah.
In certain cases. But like a lot of people that do it tell me that they can't do it long term because it's not sustainable. So what's your take on that diet?
So I think it's actually a very interesting diet just because it is a biohack. And like you said, it does work. Like you'll get people on it and they'll drop a ton of weight pretty quick. The bad part comes when they start to reintroduce the carbs. And it's called the yo-yo diet, because you go down and then you go right back up, and you generally go up higher. And realistically, you know, running your system on ketones, from the research that I've done, just isn't a long-term solution. Like, it can be done. Anywhere between 1 to 3 months realistically is the window that, when I did my research on it, was like kind of that period. And if you were to be smart in reintroducing carbs and you're super disciplined, like Jay said, like go crazy, because it's so easy to put down like a pint of ice cream and then do it again like the next day and the day after and the day after.
Had a bad day today. Get that half baked.
Yeah, but right, and then and with that, it's the sugars, and it's like lighting up the craving centers in your brain, and firing. And realistically, you just kind of binge and you go back up the other way. But I do think it is interesting how you can change your energy system, you know, like from being more like from glucose carbohydrate breakdown to ketones, which is the breakdown of fat. So you're kind of running on a separate energy system, which is interesting in my eyes.
So when you meet a potential client, right? So let's say, for example, you had worked with Jay the Barber over here. When it came to outlining his plan and his specific diet, what do you look into first? Because I don't think, like, for example, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think every diet is going to work for everybody. Am I wrong in making that assumption?
Yes and no. I mean, I think the biggest thing is, like, in terms of diet, it's really, I don't really like to use it as like keto is a diet or vegan is a diet or vegetarian or whatever it is, right? Carnivore. I like to just think of diet as the food that you put in your body. Like, that's your diet. You know what I mean? Like, you might eat Twinkies and Rice Krispies and chicken. Like, that's your diet. I say if you look at the macronutrients, if you look at the proteins, the carbohydrates, and the fats, and you kind of manipulate your diet, regardless of what you're on, if you're able to kind of hit those numbers, that's more of the bodybuilding way to do it. But that's more of a scientific approach that, you know, in terms of body composition, it really does work.
So
yeah.
for Jay specifically, what was his diet? What did that comprise of, if you remember?
Jay
Carbs
was
and
a lot of carbs and not as much protein as he thought.
Really?
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people really don't consume as much protein as they really need to. I would say protein is one of the hardest things to consume.
Yeah, because they say, the popular, I guess, recommendation is that you have 1 gram of protein for every pound that you weigh. Is that correct?
Pretty much. It's like it depends on your goals and where you're at, but it's I think it's 0.8 of an ounce of protein, or 0.8 per gram of protein to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body fat, or per pound overall, I should say, total body.
Gotcha. And you're right, because that's sort of what I struggle with. So Jay, when you got put on this diet, how was that transition for you?
It was rough, bro. Like, it's hard to eat a lot of chicken breasts, like, to try to load up.
Yeah, it's not easy. And Jay you were
like, it's not as easy.
And you were
as
what,
you think.
like 230, 240?
Started around there too, maybe even 250.
So if you think about it, he should have been close to 250 grams of protein, which is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what. So were you eating, Jay? Do you remember? Were you eating every 2 hours? Was it every 3?
I was definitely eating like 4 to 5 meals a day on the days that I could get them in. I would remember waking up, like, having oatmeal breakfast, like, with nothing in it, bland. Like, yeah, ripped. Then trying to throw in some like blueberries and make it a little bit more flavorful. Then, like, lunch was like just chicken, bro. I remember just ordering, like, the dudes at the shop thought I was like crazy because it was just like grilled chicken with vegetables at one point. And then just like, yo, more grilled chicken. Just give me grilled chicken. Like, I need chicken breast. And or like on leg days, I would remember, I'll be like, yo, J-Cap, I could carb up today, right? We did legs. He's like, yeah, what are you going to eat? I was like, yo, I'm going to get some pasta. Yo. I need some pasta with grilled chicken.
I always told Jay on leg days he could eat whatever he wants.
So why is that? Why was he allowed to eat whatever he wanted on leg day?
Well, honestly, within diets as well, like whenever I program out a diet or give some nutritional recommendations, you have to throw days where they can enjoy. And I try not to do it as a full day. I'll try to do it certain meals and break it up where they'll have a little bit higher of a calorie day as well as a higher carbohydrate day. Just from what I understand, it allows the body to metabolize food a little bit better overall. So realistically, like if you were to think about it, say you were eating the same thing, it's kind of like the law of diminishing marginal return, right? So it's kind of like that first sip of alcohol, like will raise your blood alcohol content the most, like then the second sip will be a little less and the following sip will be a little less. Or think about like if you're eating dessert, that first bite tastes the best. By the end, you're just like, yeah, I can't even eat this anymore. So it's almost like that with your metabolism to a degree where if you're just eating the same foods every day, you're eventually going to plateau and your metabolism is going to just almost be nonchalant and on cruise control in terms of breaking down food. So when you throw higher carb days or higher calorie days, it forces your metabolism to pick it back up. And then when you go back to that neutral level, your metabolism is like moving a little bit faster, able to metabolize things a little bit better. So after leg days, you definitely burn a lot of energy. You burn a lot of calories. You generally can lift the most weight with your legs. Like, you could get a lot of weight on your back. You could do deadlifts, like heavy deadlifts, like leg press. You could load that up like crazy. So it's just a good time to really fuel up, I think.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that too is that when it comes to working out legs, I think the majority of guys that I meet hate fucking working out their legs.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like this weird thing where guys rather do fucking arms. And I guess it's the aesthetics of it, right?
I think it's easier. I think like legs are hard. Legs hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like legs fucking hurt.
Oh, Jeremy, please tell me that you made this fucking man fucking work out like crazy when it came to leg day.
I mean, yeah, when I was training Jay, like Jay came to me and was like, yo, I'm like LeBron James right now. He was like, train me like I'm a combination of LeBron James and Ronaldo. And I was like,
that's a hell of a mix, boy.
And I was like, yo, I got you. So, so we were training for flag football. Like that was kind of like the underlying principle right there. So we were doing a lot of legs, it was a lot of full body lifts. It was a lot of like speed and agility, quickness, certain things. I remember just having it, like being in that little gym in my building, like doing shuffles, just change of direction. And they were like 6 yards apart. It was like a pain in the ass. It was like Jay hated that shit. He got so upset with that. And at first he didn't like doing legs just because, I don't know, he's got some tight ankles. Sorry to put your medical stuff out there. He got some unmobile ankles, right? So we were doing I
work in HR, so
that was a good plug right there.
Yeah.
But I remember we had like the Swiss ball, and we had it like on his back, and I just had him doing squats. We were elevating his heels, kind of at that point experimenting with a few things on how to really, make his squats better and get more bang for his buck. And I think once we started to get a rhythm, like they cleaned up a bit. We got to a good point where we were able to load him up. And I think just for him to see the progress throughout and also to feel it on the field, like that's the biggest part. Like when your legs aren't tired in the second half of a flag football game, or, you're just able to turn it on and you feel like you're running a lot faster than you remember, that's what makes you want to go back to it.
Yeah. So Jay, because you kind of went through this plan, but like, did you feel the difference? Like, from doing like sort of like a strength and conditioning workout as opposed to like a workout that you would do on your own spare time?
Bro, when I would work out by myself, I was like, yo, I didn't work out today. I remember doing like leg days with Jeremy, and for like 3 days just like cursing this guy off. Like every fucking day I'm walking to work, or like I drop something at work and I'm like, yo, I can't even bend down.
I be getting some nasty texts, bro.
he be following up like, hey man, how you feeling today? Like all polite and shit. I'll be like, yo, J-Cap, I fucking hate you right now. Like I feel horrible now.
But then he would follow up and he'd be like, but I fucking love you, man.
For sure.
That's love right there, man. That's friendship. So when it comes to like the intake portion of things, Jeremy, so let's say, for example, I'm an athlete, right? And I come to you. What's the initial conversation look like? Do you ask the person what their goal is and you try to build a program around that?
Yeah, so it always starts with that. It pretty much starts out with an intake form, and just really getting to know each other, build rapport, going over your wants, goals, needs. We'll touch on medical history as well as lifestyle questions, really more in that field of nutrition, as well as hydration, recovery, stuff like that. But really just trying to get a gauge of like why you hit me up, what you're after, and also to see like where your mindset is in regards to that, just making sure that that's something you're really committed to and not just hitting me up on a whim, being like, oh, it would be cool to have that. Because you do see a lot of people that, they want 6-pack abs, but they don't want to do the work. They want to be a big like bodybuilder, but they don't want to eat the 6 meals or whatever. So for me, it's important to just kind of see like, if we're going to get started, we're going to get working together. You're just as committed as I am. And then based off of your goals, based off of where you're at, I pretty much will have them come in and we'll go through an evaluation, like a comprehensive movement screen where we'll go through a workout, we'll go through a warm up. I'll get an idea of how you move. And then it's constant coaching. So like I'll be coaching you on the movements, but then everything I'm doing, I'll explain how it relates to your goals. And just make sure that what we're doing is truly in alignment with your goals and kind of go from there. So based off of that, we'll see like what that energy is like. We'll see if they enjoy it, if I enjoy it, and if I could truly help them and they're ready to really take that next step.
So it's crazy because it sort of sounds like a job interview. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like if I'm coming to you, like I'm going to work with you. Like, it sounds like you're more concerned about it being the right fit.
Yeah. I mean, it's at the end of the day, like it's strength and conditioning, depending on whether it's a team or if it's private, it's personal training, whether you're training to be an athlete or you're training to be like the best person you could be in HR, you know what I mean? But but not
I'm working on my filing skills.
Not even knocking that, but it's like it's before it comes down to anything is it's personal. So, you know, I may be the best guy for you, I may not be, and vice versa. And like I know I had mentioned it the last time we spoke, but the energy portion is huge because it's like if we're gonna be spending this much time together, whether it's 2, 3, 4, even 5 days a week, spending an hour together and little text messages, little phone calls, FaceTimes, like I have to make sure that my heart's in it too.
No, but that's interesting though, because I feel like for a lot of trainers or strength and conditioning coaches, a lot of them get caught up more from the monetary side of things. You know, like they look at it more from, this guy's going to give me some bread. You know, I'm going to be able to eat off this guy for several months, whatever the case may be. But you're more concerned about the relationship because it sounds like you have to sort of be inspired as well.
Yeah, and I guess I've learned over the years, like, don't get me wrong, if it's a situation where you just kind of need some money or whatnot, like you may take a client on. But as your schedule gets like more and more full, you have to be selective. And I always think of it with the long-term like plan in mind. And I do need to be selective with who I'm going to be taking in because I'm only going to have so many hours to dedicate to training. And like I said in the beginning of this, like if my work is going to, like if I'm going to work, like I want my work to be my play. So I want those hours to be just as fun for me as they are for you.
No, for sure. For sure. So on that note, like how many people do you allow yourself to train on a weekly basis before it becomes a little bit too overwhelming and you lose focus on the people that you're training?
I would say, you know, 30 sessions a week is kind of close to that sweet spot. You know, if you could kind of have 5 sessions a day and work 6 days a week or 6 sessions a day, work 5 days a week, that's kind of the sweet spot right there. But it all depends on the situation as well, because I've been in situations where I bounced from like, I'd have my home hub of a gym and then I would go to someone's like apartment complex, train them there, then have to go back to my gym, then go somewhere else or go from apartment to apartment. So you kind of, you know, all that stuff takes a toll. And then in addition, I guess a few things I'm working on right now to try to grow the business a little bit more. You know, one of my goals is to open up my own gym, like my own Ascend Athletics brick and mortar spot. So with that, there's going to be additional like duties for me. So it's probably going to get even lower. You know, realistically, it may be 15, 20 hours a week.
Hey, listen, man, if you need a HR manager, hit me up.
Yeah. I got you, man.
I'll send you my resume right after this is over.
Plug into LinkedIn.
And then my boy Jay the Barber over here is going to be the best fucking promoter that you could ever find.
Yo.
So we'll get that shit on and rock.
Yeah, Jay's in the business plan. His name's already written in the business plan.
Yo, Jay, this guy, you know what's crazy about Jay? But he gets so much love from all the guests that we brought on lately. Like, no one has said one negative thing about this man.
I mean, what negative thing is there to say about him?
Jay, like, my man, like,
appreciate that.
And
just gotta put out the good energy. It comes.
But you know what I love?
You know
what I love about Jay though? Like, he has this smirk on, sort of like Heinz Ward, where like he's
that's a plug right there, Heinz Ward.
Yeah, like he's trying to contain his humbleness. You know what I'm saying? Like, depending on if you gas him up a little more, he might just explode and be like, "Yeah, I'm that guy."
I'm that dude, right?
But you know what the thing is like that's what makes Jay Barber, and like that's probably like paying compliments even more is that he is always himself and unapologetically. And, you know, and when people like really fuck with you for that, you know what I mean? Cause like even your truest self is a real dude, you know?
Jay, what do you got to say about that, man?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, you know?
Nah, but it is crazy, man. Jay can just connect with anybody. Like, it's kind of wild to think that we're sitting here like this, how we are, you know what I mean? Like, I would have never thought the first time I stepped into the way that I was like, yo, this guy's going to be my boy right here, you know? And now, me and Jay, we be like fucking like Jewish kid from Leonia. We got a tatted up Puerto Rican kid from Puerto Rican Dominican from Hudson County. Like we're fucking meeting at like Dulce for coffee, talking business ideas. Like it's kind of crazy, man.
Nah, but that's dope though, man. I mean, I think part of the reason why I found some newfound motivation when it comes to doing this podcast is just being linked up with Jay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's definitely when you have someone like that in your corner, it just makes things a lot easier. On a different note, I could see Jay, once this is all said and done, talking to Liam like, your daddy's that man.
Back in my day, son, I was the man on the streets.
Yeah.
But Jeremy, I know we kind of got on a side talk here, picking up my boy Jay over here. But so let's talk about your business. So your company is called Ascend Athletics, correct?
Yes, sir.
So how did you come up with that name? Where did the name come from?
You know what, man? I kind of I was meditating on it for a while because I knew I wanted to create my own brand, my own vision. And for me, it is that combination of combining that holistic, that mental, that spiritual aspect to the physical, and really just trying to be an innovator. I would say, I've always tried to think of something new. I remember having nights like in my college dorm room, just trying to like think of $1 million idea or think of something that hasn't been done yet. And I saw like a big opportunity with Ascend Athletics and just that combination of like a higher spiritual, emotional, mental fitness combined with physical. And I was trying to figure out a name that embodied that. And at first it was going to be Ascended Athletics, like with the ED. So Ascended, and it just kind of came to me. I liked it. I kind of knew I liked it right from the rip. And when I was going to file for an LLC, I was like, let me just check Ascend. Because I was like, I think Ascend sounds sick just in the word itself. I think it's a sick name. And it also means like you haven't gotten there yet. Ascended is you've already arrived, but I don't think we ever truly do arrive. So I like that it is a verb. It's an action. It's a constant,
Yeah, I feel like I know I said this on the first time we recorded this, but what you just said right now just motivated me. So for the record, on the first episode, bro, once we were done with the podcast recording and you sent me like the back and buys workout,
yeah,
bro, I went into that gym and I fucking killed that
Let's
shit.
go. Let's go.
That's so tough,
And it was
right
more just
there.
because I was fucking motivated from the conversation that I went in there with a fucking plan and I was just ripping it. Granted, I was also by myself, so I think that kind of helped too. You know what I'm saying? But like, it just that newfound focus, bro, was what did it for me, man. So, I could see how people that work with you, I'm sure you'll help them to ascend to the next level.
That's the goal. And within the name with like Ascend Athletics, it's Ascend Athletics, which is essentially to climb up the ranks within athletics to be the best athlete you could be. But I like the other play on it where it's Ascend Athletics, where it's more than athletics. It's bigger than athletics. Like most people aren't going to be pro athletes. I'm not going to tell you that, I'm not going to ruin your dream because I think anybody could do it. And I think it's not even about that final destination. It's not about being Barry Bonds or Ken Griffey Jr. or Michael Jordan and Kobe. It's about the pursuit of it, the chase, the work that you do, the people you meet. It's about what you become on the journey, the people, like all of that. I think that's really the biggest thing. All the accolades and, getting the fame, people chase that. But I think once they really get there, it's not all that it's cranked up to be. So
not to cut you off, but how is that, right? Because you're working with different athletes. Do you ever come across an athlete where you just see how he's working and you just know in your heart that this kid don't got it?
Yeah, you could definitely see that.
Do you tell them, or do you kind of just like, you just try to help them as best as you can to try to make them a little bit more explosive or something to that effect?
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, that might be a point where I'm in their ear a little bit more. And, you are trying to build that confidence because that's a huge part. It's nerve-wracking, man. Being an athlete, having all eyes on you, having a certain pressure to perform, at certain times, every athlete is different. I've worked with athletes that have committed everything that they have to their sport. And when it's time to show up, they'll train multiple times a day. They'll be in the gym. When it's time to show up, sometimes they don't show up. That's life. Like you're going to lose more than you're going to win. You know what I mean? Like realistically, like the losses are going to hurt more than the wins are going to feel good. I feel like
for sure.
And right when you win, it's like the losing is right there to take it away from you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I think obviously everyone that's here on this episode today, did some sort of athletic sport when they were growing up. So I know, Jeremy, I think you played baseball, right?
Yeah, I mean, I played a bunch of stuff, but baseball was my best sport.
Baseball was your bread and butter, right? So where was that moment for you where you realized that it wasn't going to happen?
Well, just to finish up, like going back to that last question, I do remember. So my first varsity game, right? We were playing a team that wasn't very good, and my first at bat, I think I hit a triple, and it got the nerves out of the way right away. I think I threw someone out, and then I hit a triple, so it got the nerves right out of the way. I had a great game. I was like, I think I went 2 for 3 or 3 for 4. Had a couple RBIs. I played so well that game that they wanted to start me the next game. And
wow.
My nerves were so high that I was having trouble. I played catcher. I was having trouble just throwing the ball back to the pitcher. And then someone went to steal third, and I threw that shit right into left field. Like it just, yeah, it just.
Bleachers.
Well, it was in Leonia, so there were no bleachers in left, but it just went. You know what I mean? I probably almost hit the left fielder. Like that's how much I overthrew him. But I realized the aspect of that confidence that really goes into it. So for some kids, it's just instilling that, the movements, the physical, like they'll get better with that. But it's really that belief in self when they're on the field that I'll try to get into their minds a little bit more.
Yeah, because that's the most challenging thing. And I mean, Jay, I know you played football in high school too. So what was it for you where you realized like this ain't it, Poppy?
A high school football program fucking giving me like 3 wins
they
over my
wait,
career.
Hold up. You're telling me no scouts came through to watch Memorial football?
Hell no. They don't even pick up the coach's call.
Nah, but there's also like, I feel like there's levels to this shit, right? And this is really stupid, but like, so, I grew up in West New York, and I didn't realize how short I was until I got to college, and I started going to
walking on.
Yeah, until I fucking went to campus and saw how tall these fucking white boys are. Because in the community that we grew up with, and Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of the guys we hung out with weren't that tall. You know what I'm saying?
I was a center in basketball, and I'm 6 feet. I'm 6 feet 0. Like I'm 6'0", and I was a center.
I was 5'8", and I was small forward. So like it's just like I didn't realize that till I went to college, bro. And I'm walking around, and the fucking women are taller than me too. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And I'm sure you kind of see that too. So Jeremy, did you experience that as well, where when you were playing baseball, you thought you were like really good until you came across like another athlete who just blew you out of the fucking water?
Yeah, I mean, definitely across, in high school, we played some good teams, and you see what that talent is like. I went to a couple showcases for baseball, and you see people that are like at the center field wall throwing BBs to your chest. And meanwhile, I'm like launching it in the air. It's like 10 hopping. Yeah, like 10 hopping to get to him. My arm is like hanging already. Kind of like you at the gym on the treadmill, and then you go to the workout. I'm like, damn, my arm hurts. Like, I think I'm good. I definitely seeing some kids that show up to those showcases. You get a pretty broad spectrum of, the higher level performers that are out there. And then I at UMass, I went to walk onto the club team, and being over there, I think from a combination of the confidence and just where my head was at the time, like I just didn't have faith in myself that I was cut out for it, man.
But the good thing is that, like, do you think because you were an athlete, it makes your job a lot easier for the most part because you kind of know what to focus on?
Yes and no. I think like at the end of the day, you can kind of break it down like with logic and with all the science that's out there, with all the resources, you can see what athletes need for specific sports. I think being an athlete and just being able to move and demonstrate things to for athletes to visually get it. A lot of athletes are visual learners. I'll speak, you can only give so many cues like verbally, but it's like they're like, yo, just show me how to do it. So I think that helps. And I think it also helps to relate. but I used to be one of those guys, because you see a lot of coaches out there that are people who have torn their ACL and they were like going to be an incredible basketball player or a baseball player. They tore their ACL and now they're a strength and conditioning coach. And, you know, kind of with that being the reason why. And some of them are good coaches and some of them aren't. And I used to think, I was like, yo, do I need to like tear my ACL to be one of those coaches? You know what I mean? I'm like, do I need to like tear my ACL and go through this recovery process and like, yeah, feel the pain to like be like a great coach and be able to relate to people? And the answer is nah, like you don't. So I would say a little bit of both.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, I don't think you should tear your ACL.
I think, honestly, I think that goes like all the way back to when I was a kid, bro. One of my favorite movies, I don't know, hopefully you guys remember this, was part of your childhood, was Rookie of the Year with Henry Rowan-Gardner, like the kid on the Cubs.
Oh, shit.
When he fell and he broke his arm. So like as a kid, I was like, yo, should I just break my arm? Like, should I do it? I was like, yo, the Mets could use some pitching, man. Yo, the Mets were hurting back then. I was like, hey, I'll take one.
You know what's funny when I think about like movies that inspired me as a kid, and this is the classic. We've all probably seen this, Jay. I know for sure. Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Talk to you nice, bro. That is a great
pitch to Johnny.
Yeah.
Annexation of Puerto Rico. Come on, man.
That was a good one. The other one that comes to mind too was the Sandlot. That's also
Benny the Jet.
Benny the Jet.
Yeah, that was
Benny
dope.
the Jet.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Those were like, that was like the triumvirate, like those three.
Yeah, those are like the classic ones that you fucking loved as a kid. And then as you get older, right, thing changes. Like I think one of the more interesting movies that I've seen within the last couple of years, and I'm sure you've probably seen this, Jeremy, is Moneyball.
Yeah, I have seen Moneyball.
Yeah.
That was a dope movie.
That
was a dope concept to explain that.
And it was a whole innovative concept that Billy Bean created over there. And it worked.
Right. And it worked, and it's sort of like and I don't really know too much about baseball, but like it seemed to me that right after he started implementing the analytics side of things, like all these other organizations followed through after that, right?
Yeah. And now it's huge. It's like,
money.
It's wild, bro. And
right,
you see
right.
I mean, you see the Devil Ray, like the Tampa Bay Rays do that the best. They're set, like payroll's always low and they always overperform. Like they just
not this year.
Yeah.
last year though they were nasty, right? Last year, like I mean, I remember at one point I think the Yankees were paying A-Rod more than the entire Rays team, and
I didn't see that.
And
they're still paying him.
But the Rays would like constantly be beating down on the Yankees too. Like during that time, it was wild. It just like didn't even make sense.
Fucking
Oh God.
But we digress.
Yes. Before fucking A-Rod fucking shuts us down. Get a fucking cease and desist letter, and that's it. It's game over after that, big dog.
I talked to you this week about insurance. We might have to touch back on that topic.
Jay, I think this is the perfect time for a commercial.
And this week's episode brought to you by...
You ain't got nothing, bro?
I got nothing, bro.
I'm in my son's bedroom, bro. You want me to show you a fucking Spider-Man?
That had to be the like steroid plug right there. No. Was it Balco?
Brought to you by Trend.
Yeah. Anabar.
Anabar to the fucking 50 mg Anabar.
Oh shit! Damn, this is the first time. I guess we'll just say that our sponsors didn't show up this week.
Yeah, we didn't get the pack in the mail.
But it's all good. It's all good. We still got the next one to go. So, Jeremy, I know we were kind of talking about analytics in baseball. So, in regards to strength and conditioning, do you also implement technology? Or like how important is technology when it comes to strength and conditioning?
I would say it's very important. It's also very expensive. So
yeah, I figured.
I would say it's important but it's not super important to always like have the technology, but to understand what the technology is conveying. So down here in Florida at the gym I was training out of, we used a VBT, a velocity-based trainer. So they pretty much range from $500 to maybe $3,000. $3,000 is like a solid one, and then you still have to pay for the software, which is X amount per person per year, or just the package. But ultimately, what you do with the testing is you're able to see, you attach this pretty much this piece of equipment. It'll be on the floor, and then there'll be like a thin wire, and then you wrap it around the bar, and you see how fast the bar moves. So you're able to get the bar speed, which is measured like in meters per second. And then from there, you're really able to train different qualities. You're also better able to get their 1 rep max, their 3 rep max, their 5 rep max. You can also use that to see like vertical jump, how high they jump. There are different factors you could do with speed and checking speed, because at the end of the day, it's like what gets measured gets managed. And the more data that you have, the better, as long as you really know how to use it. But if you do, realistically, my eye, like I could tell if someone's moving the bar like 1 meter per second. You know what I mean?
So how is that? Is it just experience?
It's just experience. It's the fact that I've been around the velocity-based trainer. I've seen what like 1 meter per second looks like. I've also seen what 0.6 looks like. I've seen what 0.4 looks like. So you're able to kind of differentiate the two. And whether it's 0.1 or 0.09 or 1.1, I may not be particularly on, but I have a pretty good idea. And I will use that with athletes in programming, but it has its time and its place, I would say.
So when would you say is the time and place for it?
Generally with evaluations, with assessments and reassessing. So some people, if they come to me and they really know how to train, like they have a high training age, you call it, someone who's been around the weight room, they know their stuff. They have, I want to say like average to above average form. You could get them going with that pretty quickly into their training experience. Other people, you'll wait a little bit longer. You'll really teach them the technique. And then once they kind of have that and understand how to move things, you'll kind of go through and start introducing those different VBTs. It's also, and different technology. It's also a really good way to motivate people and to push people as well. So if I'm like, all right, John, like we're going to hit 1 meter per second. We're going to go up until like until it slows down, until it's 0.8. You're going to be balls to the wall to see what you could do. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it's like, I'm going to cut you off once it falls. You're going to want to push as much as you can. Same thing with jumping. If you were to measure their vertical or their 10, 20, 40, 60 yard sprint, like you're going to get a max effort out of that, which sometimes it's just for the mindset aspect to have them really push. But along with that, certain things like, for example, I've done this with athletes where I've had them come in and the first thing we do is I'll have them do a vertical jump. And like, say your vertical jump is normally 30 inches, right? On this particular day, you jump 31 or 32. I'm like, all right, John feels good. Like we could push John today. Say you come in and it's 28. I'm like, all right, John, like what's going on? Would you eat? You a little sluggish. Did you get some like, yeah, like you drink, are you hydrated? You get sleep last night? You drink alcohol? You know what I mean?
It was the stripper titty sweat.
Was it the strippers? Yeah, it could have been that.
Boy came into work, I was litter still.
But you have to know, and like that's just a big piece of information, because at the end of the day, I don't like, especially with athletes, you don't train them to be like great weight room people. You train them to be great athletes. So it's not really about aesthetics. It's about performance. So it's like, if you're not jumping as high as you normally do, you're not feeling as good as you normally do, the juice isn't really worth the squeeze to to have you max out, like I'll have you do something different. We'll change it up.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And so for like the athletes that are listening to this, right? What is one exercise that's a go-to no matter what? Like if you're looking to be a little bit more explosive on the fields, what's that one go-to exercise? Jay, you're covering your face. Did you do this fucking exercise?
I already know what
Jay already knows. Jay knows. I was gonna throw a couple in.
Nah, throw
I
in
will.
your
I
favorite
will.
one. Go ahead.
But before I do that, just like, and I said that because we went over this question last time. So most like the second leading cause of injury outside of a prior injury is an asymmetry, or when one side is stronger than another. So I really, especially with athletes, I do a lot of single leg stuff. I'll do a lot of single arm stuff, but predominantly legs, because sports are really played off of one sport, you know, or off of one leg, I should say. A lot of times you don't have both feet down. So Jay's favorite. Jay, tell him what it is.
Nah, go ahead. This is your show today.
This boy traumatized.
This is your mic. This is your stage.
So definitely,
I'm gonna botch the first word.
What, Bulgarian? Yeah, Bulgarian split squat, or rear foot elevated split squat. Essentially where they have one leg up on a bench and that other leg will be out in front. I just love
my legs hurt already hearing that shit.
And
you gotta send JP a fucking leg workout.
I put a leg workout in there for him.
Nah, yeah,
he hasn't done it yet, though.
Yo,
he will tonight, bro.
I'll keep it real with you. I saw that shit and I said, fuck. My fucking legs were trembling looking at you, shit, bro.
But yeah, rear foot elevated is great. I love just different like single leg hamstring curls in general, like even eccentric Nordic hamstring curls. You probably see athletes like where someone's holding their feet down and they just kind of fall forward. Working posterior chain. I would say a lot of single leg stuff and a lot of like posterior chain, meaning like hamstrings, glutes, would be the biggest things for athletes looking to increase their speed. And then also, like, let's not forget the most obvious one, which is actually running fast, like sprints. You know, a lot of people sleep on that. They want to get faster. They're in the weight room. They're lifting these weights and they're not doing like the application of it.
Do you teach that as well? Like the technique, like how to swing your arms when you're sprinting?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of athletes come in and you probably see them and you're like, yo, my guy, that's not the proper way to sprint.
It's tough, man. You see a lot of people running with the same leg and the same arm swinging. You know what I mean? Like
what?
Yo, you'll see people do that. You'll just see I mean, there's a lot to it there. And they're all intricacies, right? It's like if you're trying to run away from a cheetah or a lion, you know, like you just take off. You don't really think about it. I feel like a lot of people kind of do that. They don't really think that much goes into running, but there's a whole progression series I'll do just from technique, you know, starting with the wall, you know, different wall drills, teaching them those angles, teaching them those positions, and then just kind of making it a little bit more dynamic. Same thing with arm swing drills, you know, have them sit on the floor, have them start slow, start moving a little faster. Then they're bumping around. You look a little silly, like your butt's going side to side, but if you don't look silly, you're not doing it right. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different drills, a lot of things to kind of strengthen up your hip flexors, which are important just for getting that leg up a little bit higher, being able to produce more force into the ground to allow you to move forward faster. So there's a lot of stuff, and really just depending on where they're at, I'll do that. A lot of that I would say is more for the younger kids and the youth athletes, because it is also bang for your buck. Like, it is important to kind of go through some of that stuff. And if their mechanic, it depends how much time you have with them. Like if their mechanics are trash and you think they might hurt themselves, like that's huge. But that's more in that deceleration phase too, just teaching them how to slow down. If they know how to slow down, they're probably not going to get hurt, like taking off. Yeah.
Would you say that like teaching the right mechanics is something that's time consuming and it's a progress to work towards too, right? Because if you're an athlete who's been running for, let's say, for example, for 13 years, right? And your technique isn't the best. It's been terrible from the start. How long does it take you to kind of take this person and kind of recondition them to run the right way?
I would say it depends on the person and the learning curve, like realistically, because some people are way more athletic than others. And some people are a lot closer than others. So generally the people that are less athletic, realistically, they may never get it.
Damn.
Like yo, dead ass. Like
Try something else, fam.
They'll
Same for you,
improve.
Papi.
They'll improve. They'll get better. But with all the like the minutia, the minute details, it's a lot. And you also have to remember that these guys aren't runners. Like, it's involved in all of their sport, but there's always another objective. Like if it's basketball, like they're worried about the basketball. They're worried about like who's defending them. They're worried about trying to score buckets. They're not worried about, is my form good when I'm sprinting? Like it only enhances them on the court. So at the end of the day, you have to kind of give them what they need. And certain things do help reinforce it. And if you get them stronger, they're going to get faster. So it's kind of that fine balance between like finesse, which would be more the wall drills, the arm swing drills, certain mechanical drills, and then the force, the strength, which is the lifting, and then the application and putting it together. So, like pretty much the wall drills, if you just do the wall drills, like you're not going to get much out of it. If you just do the strength drills, you're not going to get much out of it. If you do them both together, you'll get a little more out of it. And then if you do all of that and have them sprint, like you'll get the most, you'll maximize it.
What's crazy too, like based on the conversation that we've had, pretty much for the last hour, you come across really patient, So do you ever like lose your cool when you're trying to teach someone a certain technique and they're just not fucking getting it?
No, I don't. Like, and again, it kind of comes back down to the energy and like the people that I'm training. Because I know the people that I'm training are like, they're working hard. They're not just dicking around. It's like, if they can't get it, they can't get it. And that just only like motivates and inspires me to be better. How can I make them get this? What words do I have to use? What positions do I have to put them in? Like what do I have to do to show them, a little bit better and teach them a little bit better? So at the end of the day, it's all progress for me as well. And there's no point in getting frustrated. Just like with my athletes, like the big thing is to stay calm. The word I love is stoic, to be stoic on the court or the field. I'm the same way in the gym. It's not always encouragement. That's not always the answer. Like, rah, rah, you got this. Like, yo, keep working. Sometimes it's like, nah, let's do it again. Nope, do it again. We're not going to leave until you do it right. And that's the other part of my sessions is like, I'll rock with you, bro. Like we'll stay in there. We'll stay an extra 15 minutes just so you could get that, because that shit is important.
Now you need that too. I feel like, people react to coaching differently. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sort of kind of like I'm kind of the person that you could be hard on me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could be like, yo, bro, you're lifting like a bitch today. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, like that jacks me up. You know what I'm saying? I fuck that. I ain't no goddamn bitch. And I feel like Jay,
I got something to prove.
I feel like Jay, you're probably the same way too, right?
Tell me I'm doing this wrong. Make me do it again.
Yeah. So like everyone reacts to so like I'm guessing you kind of adjust your coaching style too based on the person that you're training at that point in time, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, I used to do a mental assessment with people, more of like a psychological assessment. I still do sometimes, not all the time, but it's really to get to know your athlete. I'll say I'll do it more in like a casual manner now, and I'll try to just throw things in and take notes. But, especially I work with a lot of combat sport athletes and a lot of fighters, some people that will get into a fight if you look at them the wrong way. You know what I mean? So
Hey, you ain't coaching them up that hard, are you?
I mean, it depends. You have to know. Like, you have to know, like, yo, do you want me to get in your face? They're like, fuck yeah, like, get in my face. And some people like, don't get in my fucking face, bro. Like, and it's like,
don't get in my personal
and
space.
it's like you have to know what motivates them. You have to kind of know like what hardships they've gone through. You have to know what they're doing it for. You know what I mean? I've had a fighter, when I was asking him what was the hardest thing he's ever gone through in life, because I like to ask that question just to kind of see your mental fortitude. I think that's a big thing. And I had no idea, but he told me that he had found his brother dead.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I was like,
damn.
so that's why you do this? That's why you fight? He was like, yeah. And I was like, so does that motivate you? He was like, yeah. I was like, is that some shit that if you're in the ring and, you're getting the shit kicked out of you, like I could pull out? Or like, if you're just not performing, I have you on the bike, can I bring up your bro? And he's like, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
so that's ammo right there. Like if that's what's gonna get it, you know, I mean, like he's not gonna be like warming up with 135, and I'll be like, yo,
Nah.
but like when he's fucking ready to quit, and it's that time to use that, you know, you have that in the back pocket.
This some fucked up shit, but this is just how my mind works. That I make a joke about every fucking sad thing. But do you think he would get mad at? No disrespect to this man. You know, I wish him the best wherever he's at. But do you think if you posted a picture of his dead brother in the gym that would be taking it too far?
Yeah.
Like if he saw
Yeah, I do, bro.
I just James just covering his
I'm fucking speechless right now. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Yeah, next topic.
No, I'm just saying because, like, I mean, like, what are the limits? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I mean, shit, bro. Like, if my brother, like, you know, and to be serious here, but if my brother passed away, like, you have to be a different kind of person to be like, yeah, bring that shit up again because it's gonna motivate me more.
I think
that to me is more traumatic.
Well, you know what, man? I think it also depends on like how it happened and how they are with the situation and their relationship with it. Because realistically, you know, there's another fighter that fights out of State of Fitness up in North Bergen, the gym I trained out of, and his brother had passed as well. Like, I'm not going to get into the details of it, but now everything he does, it's like a hashtag and it's for his brother. You know what I mean? So he probably,
I guess that makes sense.
He probably wouldn't mind that. You know what I mean? Like that everything is about that. Like he's doing everything for that. And he makes it known on social media, like all that kind of stuff. The other kid I had known for a while, and like that came up in that assessment.
Gotcha.
So he kind of keeps that closer to the vest. He's not sharing that on social and stuff like that.
Right. No, but that makes sense though. I think for certain people, it's that extra drive, right? Like remember what you're doing this for.
Exactly.
The why, right?
Yeah.
And I think you had spoken to the why last time, and I asked you this question on the last time we recorded this. What is your why, Jeremy, for everyone that's listening?
So the why, and this is the vision statement of my brand of Ascend Athletics, is to raise the vibration of the world. So pretty much, you know, as cliche as it is, to make the world a better place, to leave it better than I found it, to show people that they can live happier lives, be healthier, you know, have better connections, everything like that. And ultimately for everyone to lift each other up. You know, it's kind of that crescendo effect where it's, you know, we have a great conversation here and we go 3 different ways and we bring that energy in 3 different directions to 3 different people or multiple people, you know what I mean? And from there, if you're able to lift someone else up, it just kind of keeps going. And
yeah, you know, that's an interesting concept, man, because I know you're also really good friends with Dejan, and we actually just released his episode, and he kind of is also into sports as well, and it's like the same message, which is just to empower people and kind of just, you know, put positive vibes out there, you know? So where does that come from, man? Like, why is it that you want people to be better and to do better?
I think it's just, you know, at the end of the day, and shout out to John, that's my guy. I've known him since middle school. You know, we've come up together, and it's cool that we're both doing our thing in the same area in 2 different, like in the same field, but in 2 different directions. Like we kind of are the fork in the road for people because he has sports leagues, he has skills training, he has everything like that. He's incredible with kids. You know, he's made so much impact, which is amazing. And then on the other side, I'm trying to do the same thing, but more from the strength and conditioning. So it's almost like people will go to him to do the skills to get better at sport, and they'll come to me to get stronger. And through that, you know, we both kind of started our own things. So we understand each other, which has been really cool. But I would say for me, like Ascend Athletics, at the end of the day, it is me. And that's really what I'm all about. Like I really am all about the vibe and the energy, and you know, just that's kind of how I've always been. I've always been really big into personal development, self-growth, you know, never stop learning, never stop helping people. And I think that's just like what the brand emulates. The other day I actually recorded, it was like the 1-year anniversary for Ascend Athletics, and you know, it almost felt
congrats, man.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Congrats, man. Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I wish I had a fucking like wine something so I could make a toast, but
water's perfect, bro.
Yeah,
water's perfect.
Make it
that man don't drink. He'll
toast some water.
Bro.
But yeah, it felt like it was like my birthday, to be honest, just because I've put so much into this, and it's creating a vision from my mind and trying to put it out into the real world. So I would say that's the biggest thing with it, is just being an extension of me, and that brand is just going to try to do what I do on a higher level and get more people that are like me together to do it.
Yeah, no, and I think this is sort of a good closing segment to kind of wrap things up. And you kind of already started doing it, but just to kind of leave everyone with this final question here, obviously you started plugging it already, but is there anything else you would love to plug and promote, or where can people find you? Like, do you sell merch? Because I personally, dude, I would like to buy a t-shirt, man, just to support the cause.
Yeah, I do. So I have Ascend Athletics t-shirts. You can find me on Instagram. It's _Ascend Athletics. And if you shoot me a DM, I could send over a shirt. I'll definitely get you a couple shirts.
I appreciate that, brother. The question, does Jay have a shirt already?
Jay has a shirt.
Yo, this guy, man.
Jay's got two. Yeah.
I got two. Come on, Papa. You got to catch up, bro. I'm telling you, man. I've been building relationships for years.
Clearly,
bro.
I can see that shit.
I think Jay has an OG. Jay, you have the OG shirt, too. He has, like...
I had the trial one. I had, like, the...
You have two, though. You got the green one, and then you got a trial, right?
Yeah, the trial one.
The white one. That was nuts. I went to Jay, like, the day of my photo shoot, like, to get everything done to start marketing the brand, put stuff together on the website, Insta, all that. Went to Jay, and I had gotten like the delivery the night before, like from some kid. Like, I didn't think he was gonna come through. He dropped the shirts off. It was like 11:30, and I had a cut with Jay, I think at like 8 a.m. and then the shoot at 9, and it was tight. But I brought Jay a shirt that night or that morning over there. But that's like, Instagram is predominantly where I'm at. Also, the in-person group training, I'm going to be back up in Jersey. So if you are in that Bergen County, like Leonia, Edgewater, Cliffside, around those areas, definitely hit me up. And then also, if you're not near me, I do strength and conditioning and personal training programs online through the Ascend Athletics app, which is available in the App Store, like the iPhone App Store, as well as Google Play. So if you get the app, just shoot me a DM or whatever, and I could get you set up with that. But I'm revamping a lot of different things. The app is becoming more high touch, personal training and coaching, I should say. So going over nutrition, going over accountability, going over programming. I'm also doing it for parents, for youth athletes. So just to better manage their kids. So there's a few different things that I've got going on in the works. And then hopefully the Ascend Athletics gym coming soon.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Listen,
let's go.
The offer still stands, bro. If you need an HR manager, man, I got you.
I don't know if I could afford you, man, but
we'll talk salary offline.
We'll be in touch. Yeah, we'll be in touch.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work. And then we got my boy over here, Jay, who's gonna be promoting everything. So
yeah, Jay's gonna be giving haircuts on the turf.
Marketing.
Friday night fades. Get the fade and then get a workout, and then you out, bro.
Yo, that's actually a good business idea, man. Friday night fades, Jay. Yo, that's clutch.
Not bad.
Nah, it's actually pretty good. Yeah, it has a good ring to it, man.
We'll see. But definitely I already know, just with the network and the people up there's definitely going to be collabs and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to it.
Nah, listen, man, we're super excited for you, bro. Obviously wishing you the best, man. I appreciate you again, dude, for running this back and doing it a second time.
Of course.
Hopefully the energy was a lot better this time.
No, we was on
I think we were on point. I said round 2 was going to be better than round 1. It always is.
This is like game 7.
Yeah,
we delivered.
It was good synergy, good vibes, and just to you, John. Shout out to you on the podcast, bro. Like, best of luck. Love the logo. Like, love the professionalism and just how you're doing it. It's been really cool.
Thank you,
really
brother.
Cool to see. And you're a good dude, man. You do a good job of like getting off topic a little bit, reeling it back in. It's good.
I appreciate that. Damn, Jay, I got that Heinz Ward smile right now.
There you go.
Real quick, let me keep gassing for just a minute, because you sound mad good, John. Like, on air, you just got a good voice, like a good tone to it. So that part is huge. That's like the priceless part to it all.
Damn, good thing I don't sound like, I was going to say Mike Tyson, but that, man, I ain't trying to get knocked the fuck out.
Well, yo, his podcast be smacking. Like people,
it is, though. It is.
His podcast is fire.
So, but you got it.
Thank you guys for saving
good
me.
rhythm and flow, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that,
and
man. Thank you so much.
You know about Mike Tyson real quick. You know whose uncle he is, right?
Yeah, I just remembered that. So that's why it clicked. It clicked right now, and I was like, let me dial this back.
Yeah, let's reel this in.
Yeah, Mike Tyson, I love you.
Just to be
clear, I'm a huge fan, sir. I meant no disrespect by that. All right. You inspired me. For the record, though, that man had one of the most fucking inspiring speeches of all time when he was talking about, what was it? He was like, what was that boxer that he was going to fight? Where he's like, I'll eat your heart. I'll eat your children.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what fight that was before, but that's in
not Holyfield. Holyfield?
Nah, it was
Lennox.
the dude with the dreads, yeah.
Lennox Lewis?
Lennox.
Yes. Lennox Lewis. And he's like, Lennox, I'm coming for you. So shout out to you, Mike Tyson. I love you, bro. Don't
but man,
fuck me up, please.
best of luck with everything. That was dope. I appreciate you having me.
Nah, listen, man, again, bro, I appreciate you, bro. If there's anything that we could do for you, man, from a business perspective, definitely let me know. People, for everyone that's listening, he sent me the program. It's fucking super dope. It's obviously one of the more challenging programs that I've had. I haven't tried the leg workout yet, though, man. But I'm gonna man up. I'm gonna accept the challenge.
There you go.
And do it.
You gotta ascend,
I gotta
bro.
ascend.
You gotta ascend.
I'm plateaued right now, so I gotta ascend and take it to the next level, man. But Jeremy, I appreciate you again, brother. Thank you so much. Jay the Barber, my co-host. Always a pleasure, man. I appreciate you as well. Everyone, thank you for tuning in, and make sure to rise up. Peace out, people.
Keep ascending.
Peace.